Y'all feel like singing today? There you go. I'm going to try a new song today. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we are on solid ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we are on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to meet. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you the presider? Oh, that's right. I know who the presider is. I just forgot. So welcome everyone. How we doing? Happy Easter. As they say in Hawaii, he is risen. That's the only place I've heard him say it. So the story behind that is Stephanie and I were in Maui, and we wanted to go to a Hawaiian Easter service, thinking that we were going to get like a Hawaiian version, but no. Just big Hawaiian ladies going, he is risen, he is risen. They did that for like 5 minutes. And as an old Catholic, I was like going, what's all this Protestantism I'm in the middle of here? All right, so I guess you had to be there. So welcome, my name's Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills. We are a faith community located in the North San Fernando Valley. So if you're joining us online, welcome. This is our Easter Sunday Love Stream service. So we're delighted to have you joining us online. We're delighted to have you all joining us in the house. And some, I'm happy to say, I won't have to wait till Christmas to see you. That's great. So it's lovely to have all of you here with us today. Our presider today is the wonderful Andrea Recht. Let's give her some love. And let's just take a deep, conscious breath as we batten down the hatches, bring down the lights, go within, and release as we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Andrea lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here within our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course, within our own hearts. And as Andrea lights the healing candle, bringing to mind the places of conflict in the world, Ukraine, Israel, Gaza, perhaps in your own heart, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
And so it is with a very grateful heart that I take this moment, the eternal nowness of this moment, in gratitude to recognize that there is one power, one presence, one life of all, and no other power exists outside of the infinite. How grateful I am to know that this power, this presence, this one light, this one flame, this one life is expressing itself as my life now, as the life of each of us gathered here this morning. The sacredness of this moment does not go unnoticed. We are each here by divine appointment. And I accept and declare that this morning's service unfolds in divine and perfect order. That there is a newness about this morning. That we are here to transform, to resurrect, to rise again in consciousness into the awareness of our greatness that is evidenced in our oneness. So I know this morning's service unfolds perfectly in divine and perfect order, and I just lovingly release this word knowing it is absolutely so. And in agreement, we say together, and so it is. Good morning. Wonderful to see you all. Happy Easter. Happy. I'm happy to be here. And I'd like to wish my grandson, who was here in the first service, a happy birthday. All right, enough of that. It's funny that they had a Jewish girl presiding at the first service on Easter Sunday and a Jewish girl presiding second service on Easter Sunday. And all I knew about Easter really was, eggs and bunnies. But it is a wonderful time of year, right? Springtime, rebirth, renewal. We get to renew old thoughts and transform them and rise above ideas about lack and limitation. To me, this time of year represents the awakening and raising to spiritual consciousness of the I am presence that I am. About 25 years ago, I sat in an Easter service at Agape, and I was singing in the choir, so I was in the choir loft with some choir sisters and brothers, about 150 of us. And one of the choir sisters that I was sitting with had just been betrayed by her boyfriend, who was now with another choir member. And then Beckwith got up and talked about this is probably sacrilegious, please forgive me, but the Holy Trinity, if you will, the betrayal, the crucifixion, and the resurrection, which is, I guess, the Jesus story. Yes? No? Maybe so? Like I said, I only know about eggs and bunnies, but I think that's what it's about. We're celebrating the resurrection today. And it occurred to me as I was sitting next to this choir sister who had just been betrayed by her boyfriend, that isn't it true for all of us? Now, I am not claiming to be anywhere near the person that Jesus was, but I too have suffered betrayals. Have we not all experienced a betrayal? A loved one cheating on us, or sneaking around behind our back, a friend gossiping about us, or telling somebody something that we told them in confidence. Getting fired by somebody who we thought we had a job with for the rest of our lives. We've all experienced betrayal on some level. And then who amongst us has not felt that we have been crucified, that we were suffering and being tormented and tortured? Again, not to the extent that the great carpenter was, but I have felt suffering, like I was being martyred for some reason, not on the cross necessarily, but certainly I've suffered because of the betrayal. The more significant piece of this Trinity, I think, however, is the resurrection. The opportunity for us to rise above the appearance of circumstances and or conditions, to rise above the sense of having been betrayed, to rise above the idea of suffering, and to step into the truth. This is when we get to apply spiritual principles to our lives. When we're suffering, when we feel like we've been betrayed and tormented. It is all of our stories, is it not? There's a poem by Maya Angelou, and part of it says this: "You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. I rise above it all. I take the high road, if you will. When they go low, we go high. Michelle Obama. Paramahansa Yogananda said that if you do nothing else on this Easter, spend a few moments, if you will, and lift your consciousness from the domain of matter into the vastness of the silence within your own temple and commune with the risen Christ there. Resurrect yourself from the tomb of ignorance. Say in realization, and say it with me now, if you will. That's me speaking, not Paramahansa Yogananda. I'm inviting you to repeat this after me. I and my Father are one. Let us roll away the stone of the false. You don't have to say this part. I mean, you can't. I'll slow down, and you can if you want to. But let us roll away the stone of any false belief in separation. You see, I really think, for me anyway, my experience has been that suffering comes from a false belief in being separate from Source. And if I'm feeling like God is out there somewhere, not hearing me, not knowing me, I'm going to suffer. But when I know that infinite intelligence and the presence is right here, right where I am, that's resurrection. So join with me in resurrecting today. Thank you for being here. It's great to see this place full. Now the choir is going to sing. choir's been dreaming of rain for all these weeks, and look what happened. Let me just thank Scott for his wonderful direction. And for the wonderful choir. Listen, choir's open. If y'all want to come sing with us, we rehearse on Thursday nights, and we sing, I don't know, maybe 6 times a year, if that. So please come and join us if you like to sing. And we have a lot of fun, too. So I am going to highlight some announcements. Let me see. Here we go. So there are licensed practitioners here that are available to pray with you and for you, if you'd like. So who's a licensed practitioner in the room? Look around, take your pick. There's several of us here, and we'd love to pray with you. Hi, John. Let's see, there is an Easter egg hunt today. If any of y'all brought little kids with you, or if, I know Deborah likes to hunt. She said so in first service. Okay, so there's a basket of eggs there, and we're going to have a fun time collecting eggs. And there's a potluck after service, so hope you're hungry. There's a new class with Reverend Mike starting April 2nd, which is this coming week, Powering Your Decisions. So you're welcome to join us for that. You can sign up in Sparks Hall or contact Melissa, our office manager and office administrator, to register. And then also coming up is a TLC Mind-Body Healing Workshop inspired by the teachings of Dr. John Sarno with Reverend Melissa Felipe and Reverend Z. Elgoff on Sunday, April 14th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, you can sign up in Sparks Hall or see the ticket information in our newsletter. Save the date, new class with Reverend the Queen, Reverend Maureen, Reverend Maureen the Queen, beginning April 18th at 6:30 on visioning. So if you want to anchor the vision you have for your life moving forward, check that class out. And the children's beginning drums, guitar, theater, Tai Chi, meditation, those classes are ongoing. And you can, if you'd like to not necessarily participate in a class, you can sponsor a class for a child. You can see Ginny, who's sitting right here, or Melissa in the office also, or Reverend Nicole. And now we are going to say our declaration of principles. So if you can, if you feel like it, please join us in standing up. And here. Is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all. Before I forget, I'm sorry, you can play a little music if you want. I just want to welcome you if you're new here. I know Rev Mike has some of his family here. I'd like to extend a personal welcome to you all. And if you've never been here before, you are most welcome here, and we're happy that you joined us.
Y'all sing with me now. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I'm so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
I've been waiting 10 years to do that. So the hydroponic store, the pot growers a couple doors down, they have these tanks that they use. I don't know, I guess they got to, move stuff around. And so they do it by air. And so I asked them if I could have one of these tanks, and they said yes. So I cut the bottom of it out because I thought it would make this really cool blue-collar, industrial-looking gong, which would be like a personal statement of mine, right? But I couldn't find anybody I couldn't figure out a way to hang it, right? Because you can't hang it from here. It might kill somebody, right? So anyway, I was in a meeting just a few weeks ago, and this buddy of mine said, I got this new toy. I got a welder. And I said, well, I have some that needs to be welded. And that was Richard Fisk. Some of you may remember his mom, Jane Fisk. She did our programs for years and was my first practitioner client. And so he designed and built the whole thing. And yeah, it's like a work of art, right? I almost don't want to strike it. But we're going to work it into our meditation program going forward. Anyway, so thank you, Richard. Yeah. So imagine yourself in Palestine, standing in the grand courtyard of the temple, towers on the corners, under the watchful and ever-present eye of the soldiers perched in their high towers overlooking the plaza, armed, on high alert, for the crowd in the plaza is really riled up, as they often are around this time of year. The scene is not Israel 2024, but rather Judea, around the year 35 in the Common Era. Nervous soldiers were Roman sentries ordered to serve in this backwater corner of the Roman Empire. It's Passover. The city is filled to overflowing with Jewish pilgrims, here to observe the release of the ancient Hebrews from slavery, and after years of trials and tribulations, finally finding their way to the promised land, and in time to establish the kingdom of Judea, Herod's kingdom now a vassal state to the Roman Empire. The imperial Romans are an occupying army, tasked with keeping the peace at a time when folks already bristling under Roman domination are stirred up by a local itinerant rabbi teacher with a reputation of being a miraculous healer. Some say the Jewish Messiah, the King of the Jews. Some say Son of the Most High himself. Now, there are a few historical records of this particular Passover holiday, save a collection of letters from a man who was not an eyewitness, but knew closely some of this teacher's most devoted disciples. The Romanized Jew, Flavius Josephus, who's considered a historian, loosely defined as a historian in the loosest sense in this era, makes a passing mention of the man Jesus as a leader of insignificant troublemakers in a far-flung corner of the empire. We do have writings today known as the gospel, though at the time these writings were pulled together some 30 years after the death of Jesus, because they needed to get things written down before all of the eyewitnesses were gone. They were starting to die, and before the oral tradition was forgotten. And all that remains are copies of copies of copies of copies. There are no writings set by Jesus himself. In fact, scholars believe that Jesus was illiterate, like most people in that time, unlike the Da Vinci Code, where Jesus was wealthy and married to Mary Magdalene and all that. But scholars believe he was illiterate. Even the tradition of Matthew and John being writers of these testaments and being the actual authors of these texts, this is called into question today by strong scholarship. And unknown to most Christians today, the religion of Christianity is often an interpretation of what Paul thought about the teachings of Jesus, or rather than the teachings of Jesus himself. And without Paul, there very well could have been no Christianity beyond the first century in the Common Era. It would have been a Jewish sect within Judaism rather than a separate and established religion that it grew to be. There was, as modern people, we look back at ancient times with the consciousness and with our own bias of what the world was like in that day, right? The world in that day was harsh. Life was cheap, right? You could be killed on a whim, particularly if you were a Roman soldier, without consequence. When Jesus said, "Give us this day our daily bread," that was a real thing. People would go sometimes a day or 2 days without eating, right? There was no tap water. You had to go to the well. We're really not that far removed from that for many people, even today. So life was hard. And the people known as the Jews at that time were very serious about their religion. For there was only one place where God lived, and that was in the temple, on the Temple Mount, within the Holy of Holies. So they took their religion very seriously. And there was no dominant doctrine in the early church. It was even the collections of Paul, this is scholars, not me. I couldn't figure this stuff out. I'm just reporting. Weren't pulled together until about 90 in the Common Era. So a lot of time had passed, a time without newspapers, without video, without recordings, right? We're still arguing about who killed JFK, and we had all that stuff, right? So is it small wonder that there's this questioning going on about what happened 2,000 years ago? So in 180 in the Common Era, one of the early church fathers, Irenaeus, he helped develop these things. Montanus believed in the direct revelation of Holy Spirit. Some people, so was Jesus man and became divine, or was he divine and became man? People were arguing about this all over the place. There were many different Christian churches, from the North African church to the Syrian Antioch church that Paul established, to the Roman church, of course. And all of them with their own writings. So for instance, Thomas was known, the disciple Thomas of Doubting Thomas fame, was known to have traveled to India, both India and extensively in Africa, and within the Coptic Catholic religion, the oldest form of Catholicism, by the way, the Gospel of Thomas figures prominently in their tradition. So this squabbling about the Christian story is not new. It's very old, which is why in right around 380, 400 CE, they've pulled all these books together, and some were in and some were out. And of course, at this same time, the library in Alexandria was torched. So we don't have any of this ancient knowledge anymore. And for believers, non-believers themselves, there's the struggle with the narrative itself. We haven't even talked about that. Even allowing for first century peasants to have their interpretations of miracles as psychosomatic or whatever, even allowing for that, there are still some pretty heavy supernatural miracles, right? Raising a friend long dead. The text even reads that he was getting a little ripe, right? And in John, the shortest sentence in the Bible, Jesus wept, so moved by the loss of his friend. So never mind the resurrection of Jesus himself. And still, knowing all of this, regardless of whether you struggle with these beliefs or not, we observe the psalmist from the ancient Hebrew Bible. As the deer longs for water, so doth my soul long for God. There remains within the human heart a longing for connection with the divine, even if it's not acknowledged. It's the stirring of that something, longing to connect with something greater than ourselves. Even if we manage to free ourselves from the conventions of old ways of thinking about religion. So I encourage you today to explore your own thinking and feelings today around such matters. For myself, I don't have a problem with Jesus. We're union brothers. We were both carpenters before ministry. But I do have issues with Christianity as I have practiced it in the past, and I see it practiced today, and I'm saying that knowing that my nose is pressed against the glass, looking in rather than reporting firsthand. But we do have some writings. We do have a text. I understand there's even a new Bible out this week, so that's good news. We have a text. We have our intellect. We have the power to identify and own our own bias. We are at choice. I believe in the eternality of the soul. I believe that there is a life after death because I choose to. Because my life works better for me believing this. Not from a place of fear, not from a CYA consciousness, out of some fear of retribution for what's to come, but because I know that I live, breathe, and have my being with some divine presence that I often don't understand. And I'm even okay with that. But it took me a while to get there. So if you can relate to any of that, I just encourage you to stick with it and not toss the whole proposition out the window. That we can go deeper. It's okay to explore your understanding of how the Spirit works for you within your own heart. For Luke himself reported that Jesus said, "Why are you looking up in the air? Why do you look for God in the air when the Spirit is within your own heart?" Right? Well, here's the thing about Jesus. He definitely did exist. We know he existed and we know he was crucified. Those are two facts we know for sure. scholars, even atheists, believe that Jesus was a real person. And Jesus was Jewish, which is an inconvenient truth for anti-Semites, right? And I think it's something that Christians really need to own and try to understand, that this was a dude who was very serious about his Jewishness. That is the avenue from which he connected with all this stuff. And he was serious about his own connection with the Father. Right? So Mark opens, and there's another story in John where Jesus was in the desert for 40 days in meditation. You know, I did Vipassana for 10 days, and that was more than enough. And I had a nice air-conditioned cell to go back to. I only had to sit for 4 sits. And there are many stories and sayings of Jesus that can be directly attributed to Jesus, but most of the book is people putting words in his mouth, including most of John, which is the theology of Christianity as the community of John understood it to be. So what does this mean? Well, it doesn't not change the fact that the impact of the teachings of Jesus have had throughout history, regardless of our judgments around that and all the carnage that humans, not God, not Jesus, have inflicted upon each other because they believed in certain things. I just think of the most recent one, the 100 Years' War in England between the Protestants and Catholics, which really you could even make an argument for didn't get worked out until the Camp David Accord in Northern Ireland. So people take this stuff seriously. And it continues, the teachings of Jesus continue to influence global events today. Now, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, it's not dogma of any kind. In my opinion, the salvation story that most of us are familiar with today has been hijacked mostly as a way to build converts through fear, which in my view often keeps people shackled in servitude to something outside of the Spirit, rather than enjoying the power and freedom inherent in inviting the promise of transformation that comes from aligning with the presence of cosmic love itself personified on this earth plane in the person of Jesus. The up until now unrealized promise of Christianity is not Jesus as a supernatural exception, but rather a practical and accessible example, an example of whose power of faith and belief we can utilize to build a just world of loving kindness and compassion, which are not just aspirations to talk about on Sunday mornings, but to be fully realized in everyday living as people step away from hard-headedness into soft-heartedness. Because the teachings of Jesus, to me, are far more valuable to me than to just save me from eternal damnation. Because what I'm interested in is how to live in power in the life that I am living now. And to do so, understanding my oneness with the Father. To put on, as Paul wrote to be renewed, to be transformed by the renewing of my mind, to think with the consciousness of the Christ, to think as Jesus thought, so that I may then possibly even act as Jesus acted, to understand that this power with which we are playing with is infinite and is love itself expressing itself through this earth plane. That it was the authority of Jesus knowing his connection with the Father that made him so powerful, that allowed him to speak his word with authority, knowing that the faith of a mustard seed could move a mountain. Knowing that it was the infinite power and presence of love itself, a cosmic love with no strings attached. That is the healing agency, that is the healing component, whether it's within the body temple, within the mind, within the heart, that it's love itself. So some of the teachings of Jesus, therefore I tell you from Mark, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have it. You have received it. It will be yours. To pray with authority, not begging. Give us this day our daily bread. Not please. I promise I'll stop doing that thing that nobody knows that I'm doing if you give me some bread, just a husk, just a wee morsel. No. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. And then raising the bar as what? As we forgive. How many times? 70 times 7. This is how you build consciousness. This is a healing consciousness. Jesus was the first great metaphysician that we know of. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. Everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. To the one who knocks, the door will be opened. This is the law of attraction. You don't need to watch The Secret. Truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works that I've been doing. This and more. This passage suggests the potential for individuals to tap into our divine nature and perform great works, but quit playing small with it. To allow the spontaneity of the Most High, the creative impulse of life itself, to make itself known in this manifest life as our life. A life that is so big that there's room for others, that we are living in the overflow and have plenty to share. That we're no longer separate from. That we are one people. For we understand that whatever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do to me. Fear not, little flock. Your Father desires to give you the keys to the kingdom. Understanding the power of thought, practicing affirmative prayer, living in alignment with spiritual principles, embodying qualities such as love, compassion, forgiveness in our daily lives opens the door to a deeper realization of our own spiritual journey, which can only benefit everybody else. Right? If we just tend to the log in our own eye, never mind the mote, that particle of dust in our neighbors, if everybody did that, believers or not, we could create heaven's imperial rule here on earth. That's what he was getting to. Through the power of the great comforter, the Holy Spirit, in the Pentecost, breathing, receive the Holy Spirit. This is what we're talking about. I receive the Holy Spirit. I allow my mind, my heart, my body to be empowered by the divine impulse of the Holy Spirit, expressing as me in the ways that I am now willing to express, and even in the ways that I'm feeling a little small about. That I might demonstrate the infinite power and presence of the Most High in, through, and as my life. So, to me, that's powerful stuff. And, I don't know why the other thing builds a big-ass church up by the freeway, and this is a little tiny place. I don't know why. Right? I don't know why. Maybe it's easier to believe. Maybe it's easier to believe that you fall short of the glory of God. Maybe we're not willing to accept the mantle of our divine inheritance and to really stop playing small. You know? It's hard to say, I love you first. It's hard to express affection, even for friends that we've known a long time. It's hard to be vulnerable and to say to others, you know, I'm having a hard time. It's hard to be vulnerable enough to allow ourselves to be seen as an ally rather than a combatant sometimes. I don't know why that is. And it's not, we can't blame it all on social media. We can try. It's not helping. All right, I'm gonna stop before I get off on another tangent. So let's invite the choir up and let's just take a deep breath as we consider the ways that we can allow the Spirit to infuse itself, to make itself known in our life today. Maybe to take some time to identify the places of our hard-heartedness. Allow that to soften. Maybe to just let it go. Maybe to let it be.
Many pray along the way. They don't stop to wonder what the world is coming to. They let something higher reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah. Still the truth keeps telling me, sing of liberation for the ones who are not free. Love can take us higher, reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah. So we let it wash over us, we let it lift us higher, we let it make us kinder, we let it be, we let it early in the morning, we let it hold us together. Still some cry along the way, walking through their sadness in a world that needs to know love can take us higher, reveal the way to greater love. Oh yeah. Still the truth keeps telling me love's the only answer, and to all humanity love can inspire, reveal the way to greater love. us together. Now and forever we let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let it wash over us. We let it be.
So taking a breath, we let it wash over us. Going within, knowing that the indwelling Christ Spirit is within us, is around us, that it is flowing in through and as us, that we are swimming in it. That we allow ourselves with a renewed consciousness to open our heart, to open our mind to ways of living and being that allow for the greatest expression of the creative impulse of life itself, its intelligence, its prosperity, its healing in body, mind, and spirit, that we are now open to it, calling it forth, declaring that it is ours now. That we know for the greater world that our world leaders are finding their ways to divine love itself. That the hard-hearted positions are softening even now to find ways of connection, to allow a just world to express itself as cosmic love on this earth plane. That we know for our body temple now that we are feeling fortified by the Spirit itself as we move forward from this moment through the rest of this day and into the week, knowing that we let it be. And so it is.
Wash over
Really?
Hello, little break from the normal routine. We have a basket of Easter eggs here that we'll put them up by the offering basket. So when you bring your offering up, please grab a couple, and then you could put them in the sanctuary or anywhere in the church except for Reverend Mike's office. So grab a few and then.
Good idea. They may get lost forever in there.
Exactly. So when you come and do the offering, please grab some eggs, and not too high because we have really little kids. So we'll keep it low to the ground. That'd be great. Thank you.
Should be another stool back there. So as we do the offering, so if you don't have a physical offering, that's okay. You know, you can bless the basket, and then grab 2 eggs, and then sneak around and find a place to hide them. So this is for the kids, not for you, by the way. I know. All right. So let's do our offering chant. Thank you.
Y'all sing with me now. Spirit gives through me. Spirit receives through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through us.
And bless all of you who've come to be with your mothers in church today on Easter Sunday. All right, so let's just go within for a moment longer as we recognize that these baskets represent both the generous heart of the individual, the receptive heart of this spiritual community. The generous heart of the individual who knows and knows that they know that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so we, as the spiritual heart of this community, we accept these gifts with deep love and respect, as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only the vision and mission of this spiritual center, but anyone connected to it in any way, particularly our new visitors. That from this place of gratitude, we extend a blessing upon our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them. That we know for our planet as well that in some crazy, cosmic, wonderful way that it is all an expression right from the mind of the Most High. And to the extent that we know this to be so, in the way that we know it, we see its demonstration in ways great and small. This lifts our heart. We feel a sense of peace and power that propel us into ways of spiritual living that raise not only our own life, but the lives of those around us as well. And that's a good thing. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So let's get up for the choir one more time, huh? Thank you. They put a they put a lot of Thursday nights into doing this, plus whatever practice they're doing on their own. So thank you very much. Big thanks to one of our music directors here, the wonderful Teresa James, who we now know also has reggae in her chops in your repertoire. Dr. Saul over here on the drums. Our spiritual director, our choir director, who spiritually, stand up and let him, yeah. And my godmother's here today. So you can either bless her or blame her. It's up to you. My dear Auntie Ann, right? My Uncle Terry, my cousin-in-law Steve, and my cousin, I almost said Kathy, my cousin Jackie. So make sure you harass them with love, All right, are we bringing kids in? Are we good? All right, so we still have a few eggs up here, so take a few. Okay, I'll take some. Do you want some? It's got chocolate in them, I know that. May not make it. All right, so what are we doing? Oh, closing treatment. Happy Easter. Stick around for some vittles, and we'll see you next week.
So once again, let's take this opportunity to turn within, recognizing that there is just this one power and presence, and it is expressing itself as all life, as each one of us present here. So it is in this consciousness of oneness from this place of unification that I bless each of us as we travel from this destination to our next destination, knowing that we do so in peace and harmony, knowing that we have thrown away the stone of ignorance, we have rolled it away, and we have risen up into the awareness of who and what we really are as God in the flesh. I and my Father are one. How grateful I am for this awareness. Grateful that we have all gathered together on this sacred day to celebrate the presence within all of us. I give thanks for this and so much more as I lovingly release this word, declaring that it is so. And in agreement, please join me in saying, and so it is. Amen.
All right, please stand if you want and join in singing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joy.